Hi, I'm Jim and this is Jim's Fix-It Shop. Today I've had a lot of questions and comments, emails about Thatchers that go on the front of either your walk behind or your rider. And this is one here that I have borrowed from a friend at work. Mine is all tore apart in that box over there, and I'm gonna ship it out to Charles, and I don't know what state he's in, tell you the truth, right now, but I will, I can figure that out. Let's see. He's in New Jersey. He's not a southerner. Not that there's anything wrong with southern people. I love it down in Pigeon Forge in Gatlinburg. Great place to visit. I want to get down there this year, and well, you know. Now, these Thatchers, there's two different kinds. The walk behind model has a different bracket than this. The bars come out and it has a C-clip that snaps over the solid front axle. This one has a solid bar in it, with one side is spring loaded. You can see this pin going in and out. That's how it locks onto the front of the rider. Another way you can tell is the one for riders has 8 sets of tines, these little spring things. Now when you buy this stuff used, we never seem to get paperwork. And that's what Charles is concerned about. How does this go on my machine? How does this bracket work? Well, I'm going to show him and all you guys what it looks like. Now, when I bought that one, I bought it from a lady that was on Craigslist or something. I don't know where I found it. But her machine had a square tube. My machine and Charles' machine has a round tube. That's the tube that goes from your front axle to your rear case. The wires go through it and the clutch cables. This was the bracket that came off of the square tube. This one I had to make to go on the front of the round tube. And you can see there's quite a bit of difference on how they're shaped. Now this one isn't shaped exactly like the original, but this one will mount and work. We're going to find out because I'm going to mount it on my father-in-law's machine that's sitting down here that I'm supposed to be fixing. So we're going to put this thing down there. Let's spin this camera around. I'll try to get it down low enough so you can actually see it. And I'll explain to you how this is supposed to be adjusted and how far, when you have this mounted to your tractor, it sits on this wheel and there is a distance that these tines are supposed to be off of the flat surface. You park this thing on your driveway and you adjust it. I'll show you how it's supposed to be adjusted. So first, let's move that camera. Okay, now that we're down here, on the front of your machine, there's 2 tabs that are hanging down with holes in them. That's where, tip this thing up maybe, that's where these pins that are sticking out from these rails go into. They go in these holes. Now let's see if we can snap this thing on here. Put in the solid side first, and then pull that spring loaded pin in, and it locks right in place. Now they say to adjust this thing, you want to hook it up to your machine like this or your walk behind. And these springs, or the ends of these fingers, are supposed to be a 1/2 inch off the floor, and these are definitely not. The back ones are touching, the front ones are probably 3/8 of an inch away. So this thing needs to be lifted and twisted. The back's got to come up higher than the front does. The way you adjust that, let me see if I can pull this in a little closer. On these bars that come off of the tractor, there's 4 brackets, and they just slide on there. They look like this. Seeing I have the one tore apart that I'm selling to Charles, I can get a bracket and show you. The top has a solid slot that goes on this bar. The bottom has a slot in it with no bottom. That's so it can slide on these bolts that are sticking out. And that's how you adjust it. Now to me it looks like this is going to be a real handful to adjust. When you loosen all 4 of these bolts up, this thing's going to want to just fall apart. What I would do that would make it easier, okay, to make this easier, I would cut a block of wood. Now this is way too small, height-wise. It's probably too long because it's going to hit the springs under here. I would think you'd probably just want a small piece. You can loosen these up, put that block of wood in there, and let this frame rest on this piece of wood. That will keep it level and at the right height. Then tighten up your 4 bolts. But that's all there is to it. So now we're going to mount the bracket on here that's supposed to hold this thing up. Okay, we're going to mount this thing on here. I went and bought a bolt for it. And we want a washer on that bolt because we have a slot I put in this bracket to help adjust it. Now to get this thing tapped, I got to get this out of my way. Now they furnish you a hole, but this is a blind hole. You cannot get into it from the back any way. So what they give you apparently when these are new to bolt this on here with is they give you a self-tapping bolt. Well, we're gonna get a 5/16 24. You want a fine thread because this metal is so thin. And we're gonna tap this. The hole seems to be the right size, so we don't have to drill that out. Now the tube that comes from your rear case is behind here. So I'm hoping that this bolt is not too long and it's not going to hit that tube. If it is, we're going to have to cut it off. Now Charles, when I send this stuff to you, I'm going to send you this tap too, and this bolt and washer, and you can bolt that on. And it's too long. So what does any good mechanic do when the bolt's too long? Well, when you don't have time to cut it, just put a couple more washers on it. We will take care of that. I knew I should have bought the 3/4 inch long bolt. Now, because this hole is slotted, you can slide this up and down. So what you want to do, give me a wrench here, is slide it up till the flat part hits flat against the front of the machine. That will keep it from twisting. And tighten your bolt up. Before I ship this, Charles, I'll cut that off for you. You only need one washer. Now let's put this back on. Put the solid side in first and pull your spring over. And move this a little bit. So they tell you when you turn a corner, it will steer a lot easier if you lift this off the ground. Get on this thing. So basically what you do is when you're driving, you want to go around the corner, you pull up on this lever and you hook it under that bracket. That holds it up in the air so it doesn't catch while you're trying to turn. And it does hold it up quite a bit off the ground. See if I can get a better angle. You can't really see too great, but here's probably a 4.5 inch piece of wood, and you see that slides under there with room to spare. And when you get back on a straightaway, when you want to start thatching, we can lift this up. You pull back on this handle and pull it to the side and it comes unhooked. And that's all there is to it. Now there are a couple parts on here that I was trying to figure out myself. What in the world did they put them on for? You'll notice through these springs, they have a bar, about a 3/16 inch diameter bar going all the way across with nuts on both ends. That is on there, and if yours is missing, get a piece of threaded rod and put that back on. It's supposed to go through the center of all these springs. This thing is on the front of your machine. You're thatching, you're going to have a lot of dirt, and you're not going to be able to see these springs. If one of these springs break, which they do occasionally, it's going to fall on the ground and you're going to go over it with your mower deck. That's why these rods are in there. Them rods keep the loose parts from going in and getting tangled up in your blade. So, I'll show you, well, these are still in it. I can't pull one of them out. But that 3/16 bar, if that is not on there, there's two of them. One goes through each set of fingers. Quickly unpack this, I guess. Be a lot easier showing it to you on this one. These are the rods I'm talking about. You can see they go through all the springs. Them are extremely important. You don't want to run this thing if them are missing. Because you get one of them underneath that mower deck, and boy, is that going to make a racket. I've ran over a few things with mine, and it lets you know in a hurry that you've done something wrong. So I hope this help to I think I've had 4 or 5 emails on the topic of these Thatchers. Charles, this thing will be in the mail tomorrow, and I don't know how long it's going to take to get to Jersey. FedEx is, I'm guessing, probably 2 days. I don't know if they work on the weekends, so I'm sure you should be able to see it by Monday. I did prime that bracket I made, and I think Mike from Virginia told me the color of paint that pretty much matches these snappers are cherry red from Rust-Oleum. And you can throw a little paint on that bracket, and it should fit on your machine just fine, just like it did this one. I'll take all this to work tomorrow. I'll cut a 1/4 inch off that bolt, and I'll send the whole thing to you, including the tap. I'll send you the tap too. I don't want it to be a big hassle for you. I want to make things as easy as I can for my viewers. That's why I'm doing this. I am getting so many compliments from viewers telling me, man, you've saved me so much money. It made things so simple. I really appreciate that. Just to let me know that, hey, I'm actually helping someone. And my wall up there, it is getting overflowing with pictures from you guys and gals. Another customer. Excuse me. I'm sorry, that was John from Missouri, Missouri, that had some questions, and I'll call him right back. So, where was I? I'm going to ship this out. I'll fix that bracket, put some paint on it, and I guess that's about it. Until next time, work safe, have fun, and thatch that yard up a little bit. Don't forget to subscribe, because it does really help spread my videos out to other people that are looking for help. When you Google something like, oh, my chain in my chain case broke, what do? It pulls up videos with the most subscribers, the most views, and the most thumbs up. Computer generates this. So I really want to get my videos out and help as many people as I can. And I guess that's it. So if I've given you a hand and you appreciate it, no matter if it's a bandsaw, your table saw, building a pin router, any video I've got out, fixing your toilet, whatever I've helped you with, take a picture of you and your snapper or your bandsaw and send it to me through an email. I really would like to have it. My wall, like I said, is getting overflowing. Maybe I should get you viewers to come up with a different name than my wall of shame, because it's getting pretty unshameful at this point. So we'll talk to you soon, and take care.